and welcome to you all, whether you're here in person or zooming in, seeing as our part of space, it seems appropriate as that, or catching up on the website. You're all welcome to share in this time of worship. But first of all, I've got a notice for Long Causeway from Joe. The leaders are giving notice of a special church meeting to be held on the 16th of May, with one item on the agenda, the repair of the hall floor. So if you haven't got that in your diary, you need it. A special church meeting to be held on the 16th of May. So now our call to worship. Come, apart from your busyness. Leave your stresses at the door. Come and reconnect with God. Remain in him and grow. Grow closer, grow deeper. Grow and be fruitful. Come and glorify God. Now, David's going to play our first hymn this morning, and I wish to thank you, David, for your accompaniment in this time of worship. And although we can't sing here, all those at home can sing heartily for us. We can only sing in our heads. But hopefully it won't be too long before we can all be one voice. So, in case you're not able to see the words on the screen on Zoom, because sometimes we can't, because I've been following it on Zoom, the hymn is 650 from Mission Praise. But that's only if you've got a hymn book, I suppose. The King is among us. His Spirit is here. Let's draw near and worship. Let songs fill the air. I don't know whether any of you knew that one. I know some people don't. I was just thinking, actually, stood up here, I felt a bit self-conscious, and I thought if I'd have asked my niece, she could have shown me the signs so that I could have signed, because I think it would have been really good. So it's a pity that we haven't got anybody to do that, especially when we can't sing. So let us pray. God of the church, today we remember that the reason we're here is that others before us were passionate about abiding in you. They loved the Bible and listened intently for your voice, as they read and studied together. They brought their lives to you in prayer, asking that your life would flow through their discipleship so that they might bear fruit for you. We are here because they were faithful. God of the church, Jesus invites us to be branches too of the one true vine. If we are willing, your life can flow through us and we can pass on a fruitful church to the generation coming after us. Today we remember and promise to abide in you. And as we come out of lockdown, we pray, Gardener God, as spring moves to summer and growth accelerates, help us to do things differently for your kingdom, pruning the familiar and stirring the imagination. Pruning, God, as pruning reveals unexpected and unfamiliar treasures, point us in the direction of the unexpected tender shoots, ready to burst forth, giving energy for something new. Caring God, as the vine gives life to the whole plant, nourish us with your love, so that our lives may bear the fruits of your generous love. Amen. And now we say together the prayer Jesus taught his disciples. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Our first reading is from John chapter 15, verses 1 to 8. And as you could probably guess, it's about the vine and the branches. I am the true vine, and my Father is the gardener. He cuts off every branch in me that bears no fruit, while every branch that does bear fruit, he prunes, so that it will be even more fruitful. You're already clean because of the word I have spoken to you. Remain in me, as I also remain in you. No branch can bear fruit by itself. It must remain in the vine. Neither can you bear fruit unless you remain in me. I am the vine. You are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Apart from me, you can do nothing. If you do not remain in me, you are like a branch that is thrown away and withers. Such branches are picked up, thrown into the fire and burned. If you remain in me, and my words remain in you, ask whatever you wish, and it will be done for you. This is my Father's glory, that you bear much fruit, showing yourselves to be my disciples. May God give us understanding of his word to us. Amen. Now, hopefully we'll have a picture in a minute, but I've also got something here. It's not a very good bunch, and David's been picking at it, my husband, because he likes grapes. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. I was going to ask William and George. Grapes, do you like grapes? Do you? Well, it's up to your mum, really. You can have some later, if she says it's okay. What do you like about grapes? They're soft and squishy and juicy, aren't they? Tasty. Do you like green grapes better or black grapes? Which do you like? You have sable grapes. Black grapes, yeah. These are in between, aren't they? Well, they're very nice. I'm going to put them back in that box, though. They're a bit wet. I don't know why. I don't know whether everybody else likes grapes. There's a beautiful picture on the screens of some grapes. They look nicer, don't they? Now, I think we've got another picture of something else that doesn't look quite as nice. You know what that is? A raisin. Well done, I'm glad you came. A raisin. What's the difference? Where did the raisin come from? Do you know what the raisin was before it looked like that? Do you know what plant? Sorry? A dried up grape, yes. Oh, you're clever, you. I'll take you around next time I go somewhere else. Especially when we're at ours, because I don't think sometimes they don't want to talk to us. Anyway. Yeah, it's a dried up grape. So it was on the vine, like the grapes, until it got taken off. And then it all went shriveled up, didn't it? And dry, and it looks horrible. Don't look as exciting as the grapes. Well, I don't think so. I don't mind raisins, but I don't particularly like them in things. Do you like raisins? Do you? No. You do. I've seen you eating raisins when we've had a Zoom meeting. So, you won't be able to grow another vine, would you, from that raisin? Because it's all dried up and shriveled. And if a branch comes off a tree, you can't grow anything from it unless you do something straight away before it loses its goodness. Well, what Jesus is saying in the Bible passage is that God is the roots. And he, Jesus, is the vine. And we're the branches. And to bear fruit, we've got to stay close to Jesus, to stay close to God, which means we have to read all about him in our Bible. We've got to be strong in our love for God, just like Jesus was, and be kind to everybody, and care about everybody, and love everybody, just like Jesus. Now, if we don't do that, we'll end up all shriveled and miserable like this raisin. So every time you get a raisin or a grape, you have to think about which you would rather be like. And if you're not like the grapes, I suggest that you ask Jesus to fill you with love and joy. Yeah? Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not a very good gardener. But I do know to have a good crop of grapes or anything like that, like blueberries. I only got 2 last year on my bush. But we're hoping for better things if somebody would tell me how to prune it properly. You're growing strawberries. You know, I've never been any good at growing strawberries either. I can grow cherries, but I haven't done any proper pruning of my cherry trees, so I'm not sure. That's providing the midges don't get there first. So, we have to do a bit of pruning, don't we, to get a good crop. And that means we have to get rid of the bits that hinder growth. So we need to take a long, hard look at our own lives and think about what keeps us from Jesus and what may hinder us from producing the fruit that God wants. What do we need to cut away, to prune from our lives, so we could produce this wonderful fruit? There could be bad habits, like watching too much television, like reading books and never reading our Bible. It can be meeting with people that are not a good influence on us, instead of meeting with people who really care about us and do care about our walk with Jesus. Now, apparently, the word for wind and spirit in Hebrew is the same word. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce it. It's R-U-A-C-H. And as branches on the vine are also pruned to let the wind blow through to prevent the grapes from going mouldy and attracting insects that would harm that fruit, our bad habits also need to be pruned to allow the Spirit to flow through us to help produce good fruit. And the fruits of the Spirit are mentioned in the letter to the Galatians. And these are, and I can't remember them as a list, I'm sorry, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. I certainly don't have a lot of that sometimes. But I found this poem, or, well, not poem, some words that I found was very helpful. So hopefully you will. Joy is love smiling. So we need to remember to smile at people, even with our masks on, because our eyes hopefully crinkle up and people can see we're smiling. Peace is love resting. Patience is love waiting. Kindness is love showing itself sensitive to the feelings of others. Goodness is love making allowances and sacrifices for others. Faithfulness is love proving constant. Gentleness is love yielding. And self-control is love triumphing over selfish inclinations. I really found that very helpful, and so I hope you do. It's easy to look at God's pruning of our lives as painful or difficult, but that's not his intention. It's his way of ensuring that we produce the best fruit possible. May we stay close to the vine by staying close to Jesus and allowing his Spirit to flow through us to produce the fruit the roots are made to produce. Love in all its forms. And now we go on to our second hymn. And it's number 1 in Mission Praise for those who have got books at home. A new commandment I give unto you, that you love one another as I have loved you.
Commandments I give
from the first letter of John, chapter 4, verses 7 to 21. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. This is how God showed his love among us. He sent his one and only Son into the world that we might live through him. This is love. Not that we love God, but that he loved us and sent his Son as an atoning sacrifice for our sins. Dear friends, since God so loved us, we also ought to love one another. No one has ever seen God. But if we love one another, God lives in us, and his love is made complete in us. This is how we know that we live in him and he in us. He has given us of his Spirit. And we have seen and testified that the Father has sent his Son to be the Saviour of the world. If anyone acknowledges that Jesus is the Son of God, God lives in them and they in God. And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them. This is how love is made complete among us, so that we will have confidence on the day of judgment. In this world, we are like Jesus. There is no fear in love, but perfect love drives out fear, because fear has to do with punishment. The one who fears is not made perfect in love. We love because he first loved us. Whoever claims to love God, yet hates a brother or sister, is a liar. For whoever does not love their brother and sister, whom they have seen, cannot love God, whom they have not seen. And he has given us this command: anyone who loves God must also love their brother and sister. I've only got a brother, so I don't need to love my sister. No, I'm joking. Joking apart, though, it is very difficult to love everybody, but that's what we're commanded to do. And in this passage from the first letter of John, it tells us that God is love twice in verses 8 and 16. And therefore, if that is the case, then we as branches of the vine, Jesus, we must also be rooted in God, and therefore we can't do anything else but love our brother and sister, whatever they are like, wherever they come from, and however difficult that may be. And so we'll share in this next hymn together, 411 from Mission Praise. There'll be a slight delay. Let there be love shared among us. Let there be love in our eyes.
He was a fresh Let there be love shared among us. Let there be love.
Let us pray. God of comfort, as India faces the ravages of coronavirus, we pray for some relief for their suffering. May those in this world who have an excess of medicine and oxygen be moved to generosity. And may those who face great anguish find some measure of comfort. Even as our situation with the virus changes here, we're mindful of the many families across this country who are still trying to come to terms with the death of a loved one. We pray for everyone struggling with the pain of loss. Bring solace to them. Bring people who can offer words and actions that soothe, and help all those who grieve to find small shoots of hope for the future. God of comfort, listen to our prayer. God of justice, thank you for those who are working for justice and trying to gain freedom for those imprisoned for speaking out against oppression, inhumanity, corruption by those in power. Please give them energy and focus as they try to deal with these cases. It's difficult to imagine what these prisoners and those working for them and their families are experiencing. But we ask for your mercy, peace and love to surround and support them. God of justice, listen to our prayer. God of truth, the recent tension and the complications around truth and honesty in Parliament can be difficult for us to process. We pray for a spirit of openness and fairness for those elected to governors. Renew their vision for their role in society and bring people into the centre of government who have a spirit of service and integrity. Help those who make decisions to see the true plight of the poorest and most disadvantaged in our society, and look for that which will bring about deep and lasting change. We pray for the elections, which are to take place on Thursday, that the best people for the posts will be elected. God of truth, listen to our prayer. God of community, we acknowledge the wide variety of feelings within our local communities, prompted by the change to the lockdown. For those who are exhilarated by trips to the hairdressers or the pub, to some who remain anxious about the possibility of a new surge. May we find understanding and empathy for one another. Give us all the ability to think in terms of the whole community, not just about ourselves, and help us to keep our eyes wide open to truly see how those around us are coping as things change. God of community, listen to our prayer. God of hope, as the spring days bring new hopefulness, may we not forget those for whom this past year has been particularly devastating. Thank you for the work the Church has undertaken in order to feed, comfort, and intercede for those in need. But give us the patience and endurance needed to continue the work. Prevent us from becoming fatigued or bored by the endless cycle of need we have to respond to. Rather, re-energize us, inspire and envision us for new ways we can bring the kingdom of heaven to earth and hope to the people in it. God of hope, listen to our prayer. God of compassion, with the summer term in motion and children enjoying being back in school, we are particularly mindful of those in Year 11 and Year 13. Many are facing multiple tests and assessments, unsure about what results will form their final grades. As they struggle to revise, fill the gaps they have missed, and reconcile their damaged school experience, so they may be confident they will get the grades they deserve. Bring calmness to this final part of the school year, and some sense of closure as many of them transition to new stages of life and learning. We're equally conscious of the university student continuing to learn remotely until later this month. Please guard their mental health, guard them against disappointment and despair, and help the institutions they are part of to find meaningful ways for them to connect with one another and engage with the subjects they are studying. God of compassion, listen to our prayer. God of love, thank you that we are all connected to you, our true vine. When we feel disconnected from our communities, families, or even ourselves, help us to picture this image of the vine and feel rooted in you and your comfort, justice, truth, community, hope, and compassion. God of love, listen to our prayer. Amen. And now, our final hymn, number 822 in Mission Praise. Eternal God, your love's tremendous glory cascades through life in overflowing grace to tell creation's meaning in the story of love, evolving love from time and space. A big thank you to all who made this time of worship possible, and thank you for listening. And as we leave this place, may we abide with God, grafted and rooted and pruned. Lord, help us to stay connected to one another and to you, bearing fruit wherever your love takes us. Amen. And may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all now and forevermore. Amen.